All right, got some good networking going on here. Real quick, the John Stevens and the Justin Harrises, please stand up. This is so odd. Oh my God. Two John Stevens and two Justin Harrises in the room. I don't know how this has happened.
I thought he was messing with me. I thought he was like, yeah, my name's John too. It's like, oh.
Any other Courtney Perkies in the room?
CF.
CF, okay. There you go. All right, excellent. We're going to get started here. All right. Well, hey, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good conversation tonight. How many of you guys follow Chris online? Do you guys? If not, go check him out. Go check him out online. I'm trying to remember when I first met Chris. I think it might have been in Miami at the 10X something.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. Is it good to go? Yeah, we're good to go. All right, guys, let's get started. So, Chris, talk to me about your career, so forth. So this is going to be like your bio. Talk to me about what have you done in real estate, your timeline and things like that.
Well, I didn't start off in real estate. I started off when I was 22 years old. I just wanted to start a business, right? And I knew I was unemployable. And I think a lot of people that probably in this room can probably relate there. If you're an entrepreneur, you have that driver mentality. If you haven't taken the DISC test, you probably take it. Most entrepreneurs are drivers. Very hard-headed growing up, labeled ADD, ADHD, couldn't sit still, just like go, go, go. I just did what I want, how I want, when I want. And that kind of forced me to become an entrepreneur because people could not employ me, right? So I was like, shit, I need to start a business because I know I can't work a job. So I was like, well, shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but my dad sent me to get the oil change in one of his company trucks, a quick lube, and somebody was complaining, saying it's taking too long. I was like, I bet you if I go and hand out business cards to people, I can change their oil at their office where they don't have to bring it in, and it would, I bring the service, solve the problem. Borrowed $100 from my dad, didn't even know how to change oil.
Okay, hold on. You're like, I'm going to do this whole, oil changing business from people's offices, but I don't even know how to change
Don't even know how to change oil.
I love that. But that's an important part to know. He saw a problem and was like, hey, I'll solve it, but he didn't have to, it wasn't because he was an expert at changing oil.
Right. So I borrowed $100 from my dad. I bought a set of filter wrenches, an oil bin, and some tools, and he showed me how to change oil on his vehicle. Pretty simple, I can do this. So started handing out cards. I was a maybe sophomore, junior at UL, and right out the gate, the business blew up. I mean, it got really busy to the point I'd come home head to toe, full of oil, soaking wet, all in my hair. My wife, she'd tell you, she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like,
I'm learning how to change oil.
Yeah. So did that in between class. By the time I had graduated college, I did this for like 2 years, I was making $120,000 a year. Like,
wow.
By the time, and this is 2005 when I graduated, that's a lot of money back then. So my buddies they graduate college and they go get jobs making 30, 40, 50 grand a year. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna scale this. So end up buying some utility trailers, hired a couple guys to help me, and then I diversified into doing on-site car wash, detail, fixing rock chips, replacing auto glass. I diversified inside of what the main thing was, right? And then I expanded my business even more because I was offering more service. Instead of just going to their house and changing their oil, I'm changing their oil, rotating their tires, detailing it, and fixing the rock chip. I'd be making $400 or $500 in a couple hours. Did that and realized I scaled that to where I was like, this is not scalable. I need physical location to make a lot of money. This is 2006, a year after I graduated college. I was like, six. We bought our first shop in 2006. We leased it from a motivated seller. Guy wasn't paying rent and got a hold of the landlord and said, hey, I'll pay you rent. Kicked him out. He destroyed the place before I went into it.
What made you want to do that? You find out the guy owns a property that's a shop that you would like. The guy's not paying rent. What made you think, let me go? Because you have any experience in real estate at that point?
No.
None.
I just, I'm kind of one of those guys that just runs through a wall and tries to figure it out. I make a lot of mistakes doing that, but it works sometimes. But I went to his shop. I had caught when he wanted to sell the shop, but he didn't own the location. He was renting it. He's like, yeah, you can have it. I'll sell it to you for $350,000. Like, well, that don't make sense. I'm gonna give you $350,000, and I'm still gonna go pay rent. And then I caught when he wasn't paying rent. I said, oh, I got you. I went around him and I went straight to the landlord and said, hey, I can pay the rent and I'll give you $500 more. And she kicked him out. He trashed the place before I took it over. That's how I got, you can call it dirty, you can call it, business is war, right? You gotta think like that. And I was just strategic, and I got in there, took over that shop. I doubled my income right away. Then had that for about 8, 9, 10 months, and I was like, I want another shop. I didn't have any money. I mean, I was making real good money, but I didn't have a lot of money. I was only 24 at the time, 23. And this is 2007 now, right before you guys remember 2007 crash, 2008 crash. Okay, not a whole lot of you in there older than, I'm 42, right? I'm older than I think I am. I've been through a major crash, which is going to be tied into the story, so bear with me. I got a hold of another motivated seller on another shop on Johnson Street where I live in Lafayette, which is a major intersection. 60,000 cars pass there a day. Somebody told me that worked for me that knew another oil change guy that worked. They said, this guy's not paying his property taxes and sales taxes, and the state's about to take over the building. So I go over there and talk to him and say, hey man, I know you're about to go under, why don't you let me buy you out? And here I am, I'm 25, this guy's like 47, 48. He wasn't taking me too serious, and he says, okay, well, if you give me, 720,000. I said, I can do that, and I didn't have the money. I had good credit, I was just gonna figure it out. Well, come find out, another guy goes there and offers him 750, right? And was trying to take it away from me. I go in there and I wanted it so bad that I said, hey, I'll give you 850,000. I went 100,000 more over. Well, we put it under contract, and first of all, I put it under contract. I didn't have the money. I was like, how am I gonna get this money? Because I got an SBA loan. You gotta put 15-20% down. That's like the $125,000 I'm gonna need to put down in this loan. And I had built a spec home maybe 3-4 years prior to that, and if you guys know, the market was booming. Like Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005. The influx of New Orleans all came to Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Houston, Atlanta. And this is before the market's blowing up, or this is while the market's blowing up. And on top of that, you have the influx of all these people. It drove up the prices even more, and I had enough cognitive awareness, like, man, my house is worth double what I built it for. I was like, Daddy, let's just put the house for sale and try to flip it, and we can hopefully time everything right and make the money to put down on this boot shop. We put it for sale. We sold it 30 days later. We made $126,000, 1,000 more than what I needed. I needed $125,000. I made $120,000. That was my first experience in real estate. Timing the market. I was 25 years old. I made $125,000. I took that $125,000. I bought my first big commercial, quick lube, car wash, mechanic shop on Johnson Street. Doubled my income again. We started, so I made notes like, man, we made a lot of money with this real estate stuff. We bought a piece of, we bought another lot on the bayou, trying to build a house there, and then that doubled in like 3 or 4 months. We got offered double that, so I flipped that.
Just the land?
Just the land. Made 40 grand, and I used that as another down payment to buy another shop. Then we bought a foreclosure in Youngsville, Louisiana. We lived in that, we fixed that up and lived in that for about, I think, 15, 18 months. Sold that, made 70, 80 grand. Took that money, bought another physical location, right? And I did, so I flipped real estate to get into, to scale my mechanic shop, quick lube and oil change business. So I was mixing, I didn't know I was being a real estate investor at the time. I'm just like, well, I'm just flipping. So we do that for 2-3 years. I had 4 shops at the time, 33 employees. I'm 25, 26 years old. Making about $500,000 a year is a lot of money for a kid my age, and I was just taking all of it and, you know, stockpiling it, and got burned out on the oil change, quick lube oil change business. And I was like, man, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. We were having a bunch of kids. Me and my wife had 5 kids. I think we had 3 or 4 at the time. And I realized, like, I need to put the money I'm making from all the car wash, oil change, quick lube into something. So I was like, let's buy a bunch of real estate. 2010 comes, I started buying a bunch of single family homes. Who read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? So I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I got all fired up. Somebody gave it to me. It's like, oh man, you gotta buy assets. And I was naturally doing that, not even knowing that I was doing the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but it got me all fired up. It raised my awareness. So I was like, I'm just gonna go buy a bunch of assets. And didn't know the direct-to-seller model, didn't know how to buy off market yet. I just got hooked up with a realtor, which I think a lot of you guys are probably gonna start off with. There's gonna be a lot of learning lessons. Bear with me, I'm long-winded. I'm telling you a story that ties into a lot of lessons about being a real estate investor. I got hooked up with a realtor, and I started making 20, 30 offers a week, burning her up. I mean, she was like really, aggravated with me because but I got some okay deals. I was buying like 80, 85, 90 cents on the dollar. Bought 33 single family homes, like $3.5 million value. Had an okay equity position. Had probably 15 to 25% equity position. It was okay. Did that up until 2012. Stopped, wanted to stabilize that. 2013 comes, I'm doing okay, making a lot of money. 2014 comes, I'm crushing it with all my shops and my real estate. Oil goes from $128 a barrel. For you guys, a lot of you guys from South Louisiana probably remember this. In 2014, oil goes from $128 a barrel to $28 a barrel. Lafayette, Louisiana is centered upon oil and gas, deep water drilling. We got devastated. We lost tens of thousands of high-paying jobs. I mean, you could get out of school, at high school at 18 and make $100 grand a year. You could work offshore at Lafayette. Most of the people I was renting to were all field. They all left. Like, I had nice single-family homes, $150,000, $200,000 house. Half of my portfolio went empty. Most of my shops were all field-related fleet accounts. That slowly started. They all started going bankrupt. All the oil field companies either started going bankrupt, shutting their doors, and moving to Texas. I had just had my 4th or 5th kid, and I'm in panic mode. Like, I'm telling Dad, like, we're gonna probably go bankrupt. Started to think like what I'm gonna do. I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. I said, okay, well, real estate got me here. Real estate will maybe get me out of this. I started going on YouTube University, and typing in real estate investing. And then I stumbled upon a black guy. He says, I'm not a guru, I'm a duru. That's his name.
Max Maxwell.
No, not Max.
No,
not Max.
he's got the little ringlets. Nassar something.
Yes, Nassar.
Yeah.
He was showing checks at like $35,000. Like, man, I just wholesaled this property. I don't even own it. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. You can flip a property without owning it. I never did that before. So I do a little research. I learned from him and a few other guys on YouTube, and I started wholesaling some of my properties that I had bought, that I had the 33 houses, because half of them were empty. So I started wholesaling them off. The first wholesale deal, I made $2,500. I said, okay, there's something to this. Let me hire a mentor. I hired a mentor. My first mentor was Fabian Calvo out of California. I paid him $5,000 to teach me. Unbeknownst to me, right when I hired him, he got on opiates, and he had my credit card on file, and he stole $55,000 from me. That's my first mentor.
I will say I've never heard the name.
Fabian Calvo. Go look him up.
Look him up now.
I had him arrested.
I have a mugshot.
He has a mugshot. He's from California. He was actually a great real estate coach before that, had great reviews. But I hired him. He screwed me. He stole $55,000 on American Express. It took about 6 months for my CPA to catch it because he charged $3,500, $2,500 a month, and it took a while to catch him. But we had him arrested. Anyway, so then I hired another mentor. Then my next mentor was Joe McCall. I absolutely crushed it in his program. I started implementing all the stuff. I mean, I started putting out bandit signs. I'd put out 300 or 400 a month, and literally, I was
300 to 400 a month.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
Big deal.
Anybody from Lafayette?
Kind of.
Okay. Well, if you were from Lafayette, you would know you'd laugh because everybody knows this story. Like, I almost got arrested because I was putting out so many bandit signs. It was a big. That's a lot of signs.
No, seriously. Most people put 10, 25 out a week, but to put 100 out a week.
I was putting probably 50 to 100 out a week, and I would do that in between while I was working in my shops, right? And so
Run through a wall and figure it out.
Yeah.
Got it.
30 days after I had hired Joe McCall, I did my first deal, big deal. I had already did that first deal, made $2,500, but that wasn't a whole lot of money. It didn't really move the needle, but it got me excited. I remember the night before I was supposed to make $47,000 on one deal. That's a lot of money. You know how many oil change, brake jobs, tune-ups, and tire change I got to do a net $45,000? I got 33 employees. You know, I don't think I've ever netted with those 3 shops. I think most we made was like $32,000 in 1 month with my shops. I made $47,000 on that one deal, and it took maybe an hour of my work. You know, and I did that while I was still managing my shops, going in between. So I was like, the night before, I'm like, am I doing something illegal? Like, am I really gonna make? I was like,
did I just print money?
Yes, yeah. Like, is this real life? And I can remember like dreaming about it. And the next day it closed. I was like, holy shit! I told all my managers at my quick lubes. I said, hey, threw them the keys to the shop. I said, you don't call me unless somebody dies. I'm going to do this full time. Then I started, doing direct mail, Facebook ads, PPC, SEO, I went all in. So I hired another mentor, which was Tom Crow. Crushed it in his program. I was posting checks for 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand. And all the students started inboxing me, man, how you doing this, Rood? You crushing it, yada, yada, yada. And then Tom Crow asked me, he's like, dude, you were crushing. Why don't you come sell for me in the sales, in the coaching? So I was like, I'll do it. I'll do anything for money right now. Like my shops were, this is all the while my shops are sinking, my rentals are sinking. I'm losing. At this point, I was losing 20 grand a month. That's no bullshit. My wife's here to tell you that. And I had my 5th kid, so I'm in just overdrive mode. So I was like, I'll do it. So I'm selling while I'm running around putting bandit signs out, selling coaching for Tom Crow and Joe McCall. I'm crushing in the sales. I'm enrolling people. They're paying me like $12,000 a month. I'm making really good money to sell for them, and I'm putting out all these signs. I'm making 50, 60, 70. I even had some 6-figure months. And I was like, that's it. We're selling off all the shops. I'm doing this full time. Put all the shops for sale. Well, let me back up. Wholesaling kept me from going bankrupt. I went bankrupt in 2014, 15. So that. I was making 50, 60, 70, 80 grand a month, but I was also losing 20. So it just basically covered my losses. And I was just from the shops. I was losing probably another 10 to 12 grand with my rental properties because they all went half of them went vacant. Right? And I'd rather be honest and transparent, tell you all the good, the bad, and ugly.
And this is what people don't talk about is that you only see the highlight reel, you only see the good stuff, but this is a very real reality. And let me tell you this. There's a lot of people who are on, social media right now being like, life's good when it's not.
Yeah.
So this is a really important part because most people think that
it's all glamorous and lifestyles of rich and famous. No.
Very, very real. Keep going.
So yeah, I'm covering my losses, and I finally have stabilized my income, and I'm making a lot of money. And I told Patty we're going to sell off everything we're going to start over because I have something that's making a lot of money. So I put all the shops for sale. I started selling them one by one. Made a big lick. I had a big nationwide franchise, one of the biggest oil change franchises in the country. Take 5. Express Oil Change. They came and bought me out, and I made a lot of money on one sale. I 1031 exchanged, and one of me and Patty's dreams was to own a house in Destin, Florida, on the beach. We grew up going to Destin our whole lives as kids, and put on a vision board when we were 20 years old. So we 1031 exchanged the money I made on one of the sales we bought a house in Destin. Then I sold off so that we wouldn't pay taxes. Also, you guys know what 1031 exchanges? Okay, good. And then sold off the other shops, and I just kept rolling my profits back into my business. So I finally sold off most of the shops. I still own one of the shops to this day. I lost $1.6 million, by the way, on that one shop that I haven't sold. I just reopened it. I promise you, I'm getting to the good part where I make a lot of money.
But that's for like your Allies. It's like called like Allies.
I reopened it to Allies Automotive. Yes.
Yes.
I had shut it down and I rebranded it, but we're now she shows $1.6 million loss on that deal. From when the oil, and that was my best shop before I shut it down. Before the oil field got really bad because it had tons of fleet accounts. So sold off all the shops. I was crushing it at this point. This is probably 2016, I would say, and I started building up my cash reserves again. I'm like, okay, I want to go at this again smarter, and because for you guys, when you go in, the key to all this is that you don't quit, because when you come out of the cycle, you become wiser and smarter. You don't make the same mistakes. But most people that have went through what I went through would quit. All the quits or bankrupt. I never defaulted on that loan. I paid that. I still to this day pay a check for $10,000 just to keep that shop open for my credit, to keep my creditors and my bank happy. Most people just let that shit go. But I kept going. I sold off all the shops. I was like, okay, I'm stacking up a bunch of money. Let's reevaluate. Let's go at it again. And I end up. This is 2016, 17. I go to get a haircut, and I read it. I look at the corners, an article with Warren Buffett on Fortune magazine. He says, mobile home park investing, affordable housing, mobile homes, the wave of the future. Affordable housing, wave of the future. It's like affordable housing, wave of the future, mobile homes. There's mobile homes all over South Louisiana. I pick it up and I'm reading through the checklist and why he's saying this. Demographics are changing. Baby boomers are retiring and selling off all their single-family homes. Millennials don't want the big picket fence like we did and our great-grandfathers and fathers. College debt too high, so they can't buy a single-family home. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. All the while, for the past 2 or 3 years, as all the leads would come through from direct mail, PPC, Facebook, I'm getting all kind of mobile home leads. But it's trailers to be moved, and like I don't know what to do with them. I don't have anywhere to put them. So I started putting 2 and 2 together. I was like, man, that makes a lot of sense. And there's mobile homes everywhere. And it's funny, about life and just how you think. Whatever you think about the most, you attract in life. I swear to you, the next week after I read that article, nobody's ever brought me a mobile home deal. I told Pat, I was like, I'm gonna get a mobile home first. The next week, a realtor that I ran into at Reds said, hey man, I don't know what this is. I don't even know who I'm gonna sell it to. I just know you do real estate. He goes, I got this mobile home park. I said, I want you to look at it. It's off market. Nobody knows about the family. The dad just died. I said, okay, perfect. We got a motivated seller. So I go look at it. It's right next on the side of a McDonald's. Anything on the side of a McDonald's is solid gold real estate. It's a 20, so I was like, I'll buy this turd, even though it's a 60, 70, 80s model trailers. There's about 7, 8 empty spots. There's the income is $7,200 a month right now in gross income. I picked it up for $405,000. I didn't have to put any money down because it appraised for $750 as is. I had equity going in. But I told myself, look
Hold on. What did you buy it for?
$405,000.
What did it appraise for day one?
$750, 2017.
And what does it bring in monthly?
Right. It brought in $7,200 then, but now it brings in about, on average, $13,000 to $14,000. A doubled income.
Just didn't want that to kind of gloss over. Keep going.
So the 7, 8 trailers that I saw, empty lots, I was like, well, all the leads that I get from my marketing, all these trailers, I mean, these people that are bought trailers that were 5 years old, 10 years old, they paid 40, 50, 60,000, in some cases 70,000 for the Mag Daddy ones. Like some of these guys hit the lottery and stuff, they hit the lottery, it's almost a
Or win
curse.
the lottery and go buy me a brand new mobile home.
Yeah. That's what happens. I mean, I'd say 2 or 3 of the trailers I bought were people that, ran into money, had a lawsuit, and they go buy a trailer cash, and then they get themselves in financial trouble again, and they sell it to me they're willing to sell these trailers for 10, 15 grand. And I remember having these conversations with people on the phone, thinking, I'm gonna start buying these trailers now, I'm putting them in this park now that I got it. So all the leads that would come through, I started buying these trailers. I kid you not, I was buying trailers for 2,500, 5 grand, 7,500, nice trailers, 10 grand. And I filled up that park, took that, doubled the income. And I was like, shit, how can I lose if I'm buying a trailer for 5 to 10 grand and I'm getting $850 a month? That's a 1-year payback. I was buying in 2010, the story I just told you, I was buying single family homes for 150 to 200,000, getting $1,500 a month. You see that you got to play where you can win, where you don't have a lot of where you mitigate your risk, right? So I was like, okay, I can do this model. So then I started focusing on mobile home parks. I started doing direct to seller marketing in mobile home parks all over the state. I started buying them almost every other month. I did that up until probably now we bought 20 mobile home parks since 2016 or 17.
So since 2017, you've got 20 or...
I don't own 20 anymore. I've bought 20. I think we own 15 right now. I've sold off a few more, and we're getting bought out right now by big hedge funds.
So, exciting times. So, mostly in the southeast, right?
Yeah, all Louisiana, Florida. I do have a couple in Indiana,
Yeah.
but mostly Louisiana.
So, I believe, have you ever dealt with like multi-family apartments? I believe you
Yes.
said you have.
Mm-hmm.
That was a part of your story too.
Yep.
Talk to me about the comparison of multi-family apartments and mobile home parks, because they're both a category of multifamily, just
Yeah,
different
just different.
versions.
Yeah, just
What's been your experience with that? Because everyone loves multifamily, right? But you can't get it to where it makes sense these
Yeah.
days.
That's a big question. I like to play where I have an unfair advantage, and I would suggest for you guys, if you get the business, you can't do what everybody else does, or you get the same results. This is why I would say 10% of the entrepreneurs dominate the entrepreneur space, or 10% of the real estate investors dominate the real estate space, because they don't play by the same rules. Meaning, they figure out where they can cheat legally, morally, and ethically, and have an unfair advantage. I did mobile home park investing because I could buy trailers at 5, 10 grand a piece. I can't do that with apartments, right? I can't buy that cheap. And what happened in the past 7, 8 years is that there was a multifamily apartment boom, and everybody got so excited, it skyrocketed the value, and everybody became a commercial apartment investor.
Yeah, and everyone's syndicating those deals,
Correct.
or they're investing in those deals, or whatever.
So you got to look at the supply and demand of things, right? If you got high demand, and the supply starts getting eaten up, it drives the price up, and it's hard to find deals. So you got to look at, when everybody's going right, you got to try to figure out how to go left, right? That's just the name of the game. So for me, I've done some apartments. I still own a 105-unit apartment complex in Lafayette. I still haven't made a dime on that apartment. You make money on those apartments when you sell. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Those guys, all those syndicators are making money on fees. They're making money when they sell. They're not really making a whole lot of money on cash flow, because some of them making like 70, 80 bucks, 100 bucks, 110 bucks a door. That just doesn't excite me, right? So for me, I don't get caught up in what everybody else is, because you just look around, oh, everybody's doing that. That's what I should be doing. No, that's not necessarily the truth. You look now, ain't nobody is buying apartments right now. They're down, I think acquisition sales right now, apartments are down 70%. So I'm not saying don't buy apartments, but you have so much competition. And the thing is, if you go to rehab an apartment complex versus rehabbing a trailer, I can make a trailer look like a brand new trailer and last, for another 10, 15 years. Well, before COVID, I was fixing them up for 8 to 12 grand. I'm talking Cadillac, brand, everything brand new. Whereas, now it's costing me more with inflation, now it's costing more like 15 to 18,000. But apartments, I mean, dude, you get a sewer goes out, you gotta redo the sewer, you're talking $200,000, $400,000. You get a roof, your roof goes out on a big apartment complex, you're talking, it could be $1 million, right? But my rents it doesn't substantiate the amount of cost that it, you understand, like when you buy a trailer, you can buy a trailer for 10, 15 grand and I'm getting $900 a month. I'm gonna buy some of these people are buying apartments at 100,000 a unit, 60,000, even in the low end areas, they sell them for 55, 60,000. And then you're still only getting 850, whereas I'm spending 10, 15 grand and I'm getting 850, right? You see the gap in my rents to what I buy it for? So I don't want to sit here and talk to you about apartments like I'm some kind of expert. I just know that I know all the gurus in the space. I speak all over the country. I'm a part of a lot of big deals. Ain't nobody making money in those apartments that they bought the past 10 years. The guys make money with acquisition fees, and they would fill them up and rehab them and retrade them and sell them, and that's when they make money. So if you want to flip them, I think it's great. If you want to go for cash flow, I think mobile homes and mobile home parks are the way to go.
So what do you think are some common mistakes when someone's looking into mobile home parks that people need to be mindful for? So maybe another way to say it is when you're looking for a deal, what are you looking for and what are you staying away from?
So I'll buy a shit park in a great area. I won't buy a great park in a shit area. Meaning, I can change the trailer, I can't change the real estate it sits under. So you gotta be cognizant of the real estate it sits under. Make sure there's jobs in the area, there's infrastructure. Although I would say my country parks they stay longer and they're a little bit better quality tenants than the inner city parks. People want that outside, that setting, that country setting. So everything I own is pretty much park owned. To say that I would do that again, I don't know. Everybody told me I would.
Let's explain what park owned.
Yeah.
So when someone's looking at parks, so those of you guys don't know, I own 2 parks, one in Louisiana, one in Mississippi. And so a lot of this is going to be a little bit different. So what does park owned mean?
Park owned means like you own the trailer and the real estate. Lot rent is where the tenant owns their trailer. They bought their trailer there and they're paying you to rent the dirt, right?
And there's one other third strategy that a lot of people do.
Rent to own, owner finance.
Where they'll finance the trailer and then get lot rent. So you'll get payments for a little while, but then you're just going to get that lot rent. So some people will buy the parks with the trailers in them, owner finance all the trailers, and then just get lot rent.
Yeah. So for me, we scaled so fast. We bought 750 units in 5 years, and then a lot of them are value add, heavily discounted. After it gets, some of these properties I bought at 35, 40 cents on the dollar. It's really cheap. We rehabbed and then put them for rent, and we're doing really well with that. But you got to understand, like, you're gonna always have the cycle of somebody moving out, somebody moving in. So for me, going back and redoing everything, right now I look like a freaking, I'm gonna be riding out like a stallion because I'm getting bought out. And when I say I'm getting bought out, I'm not getting, my land is not getting bought out right now. Big hedge fund out of Clearwater came and offered to buy my whole portfolio, but they're buying just my trailers. So they're paying off all my debt, and they're gonna drop, and they're gonna pay me lot rent.
I heard y'all talk about this in Baton Rouge. Forgot to talk with you guys about that dinner. But the reality is do you guys understand? He owns the trailers and the lots, but the fund is only looking for the trailers. Why do you think they're doing that?
Because they have so much money in the marketplace, they don't know where to park it anymore. There's so much money. The government is printed so much money. All these hedge funds they're losing money to inflation, so they'd rather put it in something. So I think it's just good timing for me. But looking at it again, I don't know if I would do the model. I would still do the same model, but I would sell them all on rent to own, owner finance, day one. Just.
What's that hard lesson? It's because all the turnovers and the maintenance, or?
Yeah, the turnovers, the maintenance, and as I get older, I stressed out my property management. I have all in-house property management. I mean, we bought so much, and taking care of so many properties, it's a lot of, listen, finding properties is easy. Raising private money to get the deal is easy. You know what the hard challenge is? Property management. You know, everybody can look cool on the gram, oh, I just bought this $1 million property and yada, yada, yada. Listen, if you ain't got the right property management, I don't care how good your deal is, you gotta have the right people running it, because it'll blow up real quick. There's a lot of that happening right now in the space.
Which is what's turning people into motivated sellers.
Yes.
So I'm a big believer that acquisitions is not enough. You need the skill set of management as well, because
Yes.
otherwise, what's the difference between you and every motivated seller you bought from? They owned it too. Ownership does not equal, wealth.
Yeah.
It's also ownership now with proper management.
So I would tell you guys to, don't buy it off more than you can chew. I kind of, it's kind of to my, I kind of move too fast sometimes, which is good and bad. But for you guys, I would start off with one park, maybe it's a 10, 20, 30 unit park, just focus on finishing that park before you start another park. And then maybe after you finish rehabbing it, sell them on owner finance. And then you ain't got no maintenance, right? You get a down payment, you get $2,500 down, you just create a note for 15 years at 12% interest. 20% of them are gonna default and give you back the trailer, you just redo it again, right? But you ain't got maintenance, and you get that down payment. The cool thing about real estate is that, everybody knows, who's heard the old adage, you make money when you what?
Buy.
When you buy. You have to always think with everything you do, right? That'll save you when cash flow doesn't work anymore, equity saves you. Meaning you can what? You can sell out, right? We bought 20.
That's really important. What did we just talk about? Rents are not, continuing to climb. They're either, equaling out or they're starting to come down some. So that's where the cash flow, they're coming down. So that cash flow is not always there. But if you
bought right, you can get out of the property. That is your saving grace, right? That's why I always tell everybody, always buy direct to seller, off market, right? Now they get you realtors out there, but the best deals are not on MLS. That's where the amateurs play. It's not where the big dogs play. The people that are professionals. You want to buy off market and you want to sell on market. So I would say that's one thing I did really well. That's what I preach to everybody I teach and coach. Hey, if you can't steal it, you have no business buying it. That's just the honest to God truth. Nobody, some people that maybe new in real estate, man, you just said the word steal, you steal a real estate. Yes. I'm not here to be fair, folks. I'm here to win, right? If you guys think you're gonna go out, I want to be fair to the customer, I want to do this. No, dude, I'm not fair. Fair gets you hurt. Fair gets you bankrupt. I'm not saying to lie, steal, and cheat. What I'm telling you is that you better stack up all the odds in your favor to where you can't lose, and that's how you're gonna become a professional and scale and take it to the next level. Because that's how I've been able to take my net worth from, before I got into real estate, my net worth was maybe $3 million. I went from $3 million to $20 million in 4.5 years. Because you make money when you what? You buy, right? And the way you do that is you do direct to seller marketing, right? You don't go buy all your properties on MLS. Now you want to get connected with all these realtors in here, and you want to network because they can bring you off-market deals, pocket listings, but you guys have no business buying deals on MLS. I know that's going to be a hard pill for all you guys to swallow. So that would be, because that's what we all end up doing. That's what I did, and that's how I almost blew up my business, because I ended up selling off all those single-family homes and taking a loss on all those homes. So, but mobile home parks are great. I don't want you guys to go and think that, because I do a lot of the stuff besides mobile home parks, right? But it's definitely a great asset class if you live in Louisiana. But right now, you better be ultra careful because insurance have doubled and tripled.
What does insurance look like on a mobile home park? Like, I'm not saying dollars and cents, but like, what do you insure?
You insuring the trailer. If you have park owner and you own the trailer, the bank's gonna make you insure the trailer. And we were paying like $50 a trailer per month. That's went up to I think $100, $120 a trailer. That's almost double. It's double and a half, right? So if I didn't buy it right, and I didn't steal it legally, morally, and ethically, and you bought it because you wanted to be fair and you wanted to be a good price, and all your insurance is going up, and oh wait, by the way, you got a 5-year amortization, you got 1 year left, and rent rates, you locked in at 4, and rates are at 8.5, 9 now.
Good luck.
Okay, you got a business. So that's why I say, if this is what protects you, you gotta get this out of your mind, like you gotta be a shark, guys, right? You can't be fair, and you gotta be super aggressive, right? And don't take all I'm telling you out of context when I say this. I don't steal, I don't lie, I don't cheat. I am brutally honest with it. With that, it'll tell you. She can't hear the conversation because I'm like, lady, if I buy it at the price that you want me to buy your house at, or your trailer park, I will go bankrupt. What happens if this, and this, right? You have to understand all this when you're negotiating.
So let's talk about financing. What is financing looking like in the mobile home park space? You mentioned banks lend on them?
Yeah, they lend on them. If they're older parks, they're not going to want to lend on the trailers itself. They're going to want to lend on just the value of the land and the lot rent. Now, if you have a park that's newer, that's maybe the trailer's only 5, 10, 12, 15 years old, they'll collateralize the trailers and give you value for the trailers, but they don't like to give any value on the trailers.
Alright, and
But I would say right now, the last park, we bought a 62 unit at New Iberia, off market, we owner financed it, we got 5%. You know, you guys gotta be all financing every deal, right? You know, with all the, once you tell them how much they're gonna pay in taxes, you cash them out, like, they like.
that's one of the most common ways that I get owner financing is by talking to them through the taxes they're gonna pay. If they owned it for a while. So if someone's owned anything for more than 5 years, that's not their primary residence, boom, it's a huge part right there. And also, historically, parks and mobile homes are not easy to finance.
Yeah.
And so historically, they might have bought it on owner financing. You know, so it's not that uncommon in the field. So with that being said, so we're talking about some different financing. So owner financing, banks generally don't like to finance the trailers, right? So there's some things you need to look at. Let's talk about the
But they want a track record too. Like if you're trying to buy your first park, they're gonna want it, and you have no backtrack of doing it before.
Well, that's commercial. Let's talk about what that means. Like that's commercial in general. If you're gonna buy your first apartment complex, and you've never bought one before.
Yeah, it's tough. So you want to partner with somebody, or you know, become an LP, or just a limited partner on a deal. But what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, so banks. So we're talking about banks. So they're preferring lot rent over trailers, unless the trailers are almost new.
Yeah.
What else are banks looking for? Do they care about infrastructure?
Well, that's your job to do that. I mean, they're not going to go in there and spend the money on infrastructure. I mean, I bought a park in Tennant Springs that, you know, thank God I bought it at a good price, but we got our ass kicked on it. You know, we closed on it. We called the city and asked if everything is okay with it. Is it still permanent? Is it mobile home park? They said yes, everything's good. We closed on it. I buy 15 brand new trailers. That's almost, it's 45,000 times 15. And there's your number. We hauled 15 trailers in, we drop them. We go to hook them up to electricity, and they said, nope. You got to update all the sewer. I said, oh shit, okay.
So was this private or public utilities?
Well, it was on a septic. It was an old.
So private.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not city utilities, like city sewers, city, all that?
Yeah.
So private.
They had told us on the phone that it was gonna be okay.
It was gonna be okay. But so you gotta get it in writing.
Yeah,
Don't trust the government official just to tell you over the phone. Get it in writing. So if I'd got it right, I would have sued them, or at least fought it, right? And it probably won. So that happened. That cost me an extra $200,000. But it took a year for them to get approved to even. So I'm paying a note on 15 brand new trailers for a year. So they burn it through cash, right? So this is the good, bad, and ugly, right? This shit you have to go through.
But if you didn't have that cash, so that's where investors are getting hurt. Because they don't, we were talking about this where it's like insurance is going up. We're talking about the taxes earlier going up, all these things. If you don't have money on the side, so where does that money come from? You want to talk about the slow fast?
So this is super important. I had to figure all this out on my own. You know, you guys need to understand what fast, medium, and slow money is. It's the velocity of money, right? A lot of people read Rich Dad Poor Dad, or they watch a YouTube video and I'm like, oh, I want to be a real estate investor. I'm just going to go buy a bunch of assets, thinking that buying a bunch of real estate is going to solve all their financial problems. No, it's not going to solve your problem. It's slow money, right? That's the first thing you need to understand. Unless you guys have a couple $100,000 or $100,000 saved, you have no business buying real estate right now, right? Because first and foremost, real estate, a lot of people like to over fluff how well real estate cash flows. First and foremost, real estate is the best store of value. That's how you're gonna look at it. Where can I store my cash? Secondly, depreciation. I'll buy real estate not for the cash flow. Yeah, I want it to cash flow, but I buy it for depreciation to offset my fast money. What is my fast money? Your W-2, wholesaling, flipping. Maybe you have a business, you have a roofing business, HVAC company, or whatever it may be that transacts, and you pay a lot of taxes. 3, inflate. You hope that you have appreciation, right? That's what you're hoping for. And 4, lastly, then I hope it cash flows. That's how you gotta look at real estate, right? You can't just think you're gonna buy 30 single family homes like I did and all of a sudden all your money problems go away, because you know what, the roof's gonna go out, the AC goes out, you accidentally put a tenant in there that's mentally ill and you know, that's 15 cats shit and piss all over the house for 6 months, you don't even know about it. Like, these are the realities of being a landlord, right?
And the landlords in the room say amen, because the reality is, you get into it and the cash flow might be there on paper, the cash flow might be there in theory, but in the bank account, it's going, the allegations of things. So
you gotta look at it as a store value. That's how you gotta look at it as retirement. No different than you put money in 401k. So you work on your fast money. You got your W-2, you got your wholesaling, you got flipping, you got a job, and you got medium money, which is a little bit more riskier, but it pays out bigger dividends. That's like a longer flip that maybe you're gonna make 70, 80, 100 grand on. Or maybe it's a little land deal, right? That's slow money, or medium money. Then you have slow money, which is the rental properties, and say land development. I do a lot of land development now, develop neighborhoods. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to get our money back, but it's millions of dollars, right? If you're not working on your fast, medium, and slow money in sequential order, over a duration of time, you're not going to do well, because most people on this planet, all they do is work on their fast money. They have a W-2 job and they get taxed to death, and they throw their money into a 401k or the stock market, and that's a casino at this point. We don't even know when you could lose all that, and you get eaten up with fees and this and that. Whereas if you get your fast money and you compound it into medium money, and then you roll it into slow money over a duration of time, your slow money wipes out all your active income, gets rid of from all the depreciation. I haven't paid taxes in 8 years, by the way, and I make millions of dollars. And how many of you guys are paying taxes? Raise your hand. About half the room. There's no reason for you to pay taxes. There's a legal way to not pay taxes. It's called depreciation. You have to get your fast money, your medium money, and slow money all in check. Like, you need to have your stuff that transacts on a daily basis so you can pay your bills. Then you have to have a medium style investment. Maybe it's a bigger flip or a land deal that takes 6 to 8 months, but you might make $200,000 or $300,000 on it. And then you got to take all that money and forget about it. And then you buy real estate and you sit on it, but you don't try to worry about the cash flow. Don't worry about the cash flow. Worry about principal pay down. Worry about the depreciation. If the cash flow is great, you take that extra cash flow and keep improving the property, because your AC is going to go out, your roof's going to go out. This is the harsh reality about building wealth, right? You see all these flashy guys. Oh, I just bought this jet behind me with all that cash flow I got from my real estate. No, you bought that jet with all the acquisition fees that you got from syndicated money.
yeah, so let's talk. We're going to start to land the plane here soon. We're going to answer some questions, but Chris, if you were to, what is a lesson that if you learned it sooner, you would have made more money, you would have maybe retired sooner, or become financially independent sooner, or you would have leveled up sooner?
There's 3 key points to being a professional real estate investor. And I like triangles, because imagine you're looking at a triangle. The first bottom point is direct to seller marketing. You have to master direct to seller marketing. Everyone in this room, who's doing direct to seller marketing in this room? Raise your hand. Okay, 4 or 5 people in this room. If you don't do that, you're not going to find deals. You're going to keep up with a guy like me or the guys in here that are doing it. What is direct to seller marketing? Direct mail, cold calling, Facebook ads, PPC, SEO, making posts, just direct to seller marketing. You get off market properties, because that's how you're going to capture equity, right? Nobody got rich from their job. You don't build wealth from a job or even wholesale and flipping. You build wealth from investing over time and hold it, right?
You can't eat equity.
Say again?
You cannot eat equity. Like, what are you gonna do with that equity if you can?
And you can't eat equity, doesn't pay the bills, can't go out to dinner because you have equity.
I do care about cash flow more than equity. But I mean, you can build wealth. You cannot live out.
Right, that's why you have to have your fast money going. That's why you have to have a job and pay that transaction, pay your bills.
Well, people looking to live off of your rentals, that is a mistake I see, that living off of your rentals too soon. So I was telling you, like, this theory I have is like it's a baby. It's, when I buy a rental, it's a baby. I'm not taking money, I've never taken money from my rentals over all these years because I don't want to depend on it too soon. Like if a mom depended on the kid too soon, that's when you call, CPS or whatever, because it's traumatic, right? But I want it to grow up. I want it paying its own bills. I want it having money in its bank, to pay for the AC, to pay for the mortgage, to pay for vacancy. Then eventually I will depend on it. Not anytime soon.
Yeah, you need to play the 5-year game. You need to think about, hey, I'm not going to make any money on this thing for 5 years. Because 5 years have passed, you have principal pay down, you probably had some inflation and appreciation. But back to my point about the triangle, direct to seller marketing, raising private money, was that the bottom part? Who's raising private money in here? Okay, 3 people, 4 people. You're not going to scale without raising private money, right? I got bottlenecked because I was trying to, I had quite a, I had a little stockpile of cash when I was in my 20s and 30s, so I was able to buy, $8, $9, $10 million worth of real estate, but I ran out of money quick, and you have to stop. You need to learn the art of raising private money, because then you don't ever have to stop. And you say, well, first, how do you raise private money? This is the next point. The top point and most important point of being a professional real estate investor is building a brand. Who here is building a brand? Okay, a little bit more, 8 or 9 people. Who in here posts on social media? Raise your hand. Listen, there are only 8 or 9 people.
It was the same people who raised their hand the first time, right?
That are raising private money. Because raising private money and building a brand go hand in glove, and direct to seller marketing. This is the biggest, out of all 3 of those points, what do you think the most important is? Building a brand. Listen, if Jesus Christ was alive today, if Buddha was alive today, if Muhammad was alive today, if JFK, if Martin Luther King, they would be loud and proud on social media. This is the biggest opportunity in the world. 100 years ago, you could not reach thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people for free. You had to get on the radio, you had to get on the newspaper, you had to pay money. You literally can get known for free.
I last week I bought a house in Slidell. A sweet young woman saw me on YouTube. I don't have a YouTube channel. I have one for the REIA, like these recordings. I don't have a YouTube channel. Saw me on an interview on YouTube, reached out, said, please buy my mom and dad's house in Slidell. Well, she first reached out and said, which department is Courtney working? I just want to deal with her. I said, honey, me, myself, and I, you're talking to her. So sweet. But she lived in a different state from here, lived in a different state, saw me on a YouTube video on an interview.
Yeah, that's so huge, guys. Just make a post. You ain't got to get on Facebook Live. Just take a picture of which, hey, I just bought this house at such and such. I'm going to pay my investors 12% interest. If you got money sitting in your checking account and you got lazy money and don't know where to put it, hey, inbox me. We can partner up on this deal. As simple as that. And you're going to start raising money. But I would tell you the most important thing. I could tell you what has helped me got as far as I've got, and that is personal development. You guys that follow me always talk about skill up, right? Skills get the deals. Like, that's no bullshit. You made a thing and you tagged me and you said, that was
It was a Jim Rome thing.
Jim Rome says,
Don't
you don't need, don't worry about your problems. You just need more skills, right? And it's the truth. Like, I've been a personal development junkie since I was 22 years old. I've read hundreds of books. I've spent over $1 million, and that is no bullshit. $1 million in coaches, mentors, programs, masterminds, you name it. I got to work with some of the biggest names in the industry. Grant Cardone. I paid a lot of money to be around those people. And I'm telling you, that is the de facto thing that's going to keep you guys from leveling up, because Jim Rome once said, I'll never forget it, he says, your personal finances seldom exceed your personal development. That's what I just said. Your personal finances seldom exceed your personal development, meaning you'll never make as much money as your mind will let you. This goes back to the lottery mentality. You ever seen the movie, the show, The Curse of the Lottery? Those people that make $100 million and they blow it in 2 years because their mind can't handle it. You have to level up and you got to skill up and get around people that are doing big stuff. That's why you got to. This what y'all doing is great right here because y'all are getting around people that are trying to do it.
So my last question for you, and then we're going to take questions from you guys. What do you think about the market right now? 2024, what does that look like for Chris?
Let me take a sip of water before I answer that question. Well, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. Well, I don't say a little bit, I am a conspiracy theorist. They are actively trying to overthrow the country. That's what I think. I mean, nothing, like if I was somebody and I was trying to overthrow a country, I would do everything that they're doing. Everything, right? Blowing up the debt, right? All you gotta do is study history. I study a lot of history. I've studied the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, the Weimar Republic, the collapse of Argentina back in 2001, Colombia. I've studied them all, and they're doing everything to the T to destroy the country so they can reset everything because the financial system is, frankly speaking, is fucked. Right? So, with that said, there's gonna be a lot of opportunity. They are going to try to blow up the system, to reset it and blame it on something else. Who knows, we might have World War III here with what's going on with, over there in Israel and Palestine. But I think for you guys, you want to get into stuff that is sustainable, shit that's needed and wanted. I would not be selling boats, fours, and Sea-Doos right now. Right? I would not be trying to buy a... what's something that we don't
So I had a friend who owned an ice cream shop that was one that was very experiential, and in the pandemic, because they could not do like takeout, they went out of business, right? It was an unessential, you also could adopt easily. Like, who's gonna go through drive-through for a roll of ice cream?
Yeah, I would get into shit that you have to have. I bought an HVAC company. People are gonna pay their HVAC bill before they pay their mortgage. And I spend 6 figures on HVAC a year, so I might as well keep that in-house and own it, right? So it's how your mind has to start thinking. The service trades, I love the service trades right now. Electrician, plumbing, roofing, things that
you... roll-off business, right?
Yeah, I have a junk removal business because we do a lot of, junk removing cleanouts.
Yeah.
So your mind has to think about what's needed. That's why I reopened my mechanic shop. Because cars have become so expensive and interest rates are so high that people are keeping their cars and fixing everything. It's how my mind thinks what is needed and wanted in the marketplace.
It's kind of like when you originally saw the complaining of the wool at the like Take 5 or whatever, and they're like, hey, I don't know how to do it. It's an opportunity in the marketplace that is essential.
Real estate's still going to stay, good. I mean, you look at the people that made the most money. Like if you study the Great Depression, so many people got super filthy rich. 2008, a lot of people got hurt. The amateurs got hurt. The professionals cleaned house. They had access to private money. They had access to a lot of connections, and they bought up everything for pennies on the dollar. So you got to understand these things. You got to be a cyclical player. You got to know what season we're in or what inning we're in.
But that being said, is there anything you're not doing right now or staying away from?
Apartments.
I'm definitely not doing any apartments. I would say I'm just looking for opportunities, right? Whatever I can. I'm a value investor. Wherever I can capture value, right?
Define value.
Value is price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Meaning, it's equity. I'm looking for equity.
You get discounts.
Yeah, I'll buy a snowball stand on the side of the road if it cash flows and it's on a high desirable piece of real estate. If I can get it for 50 cents to $1. This is how Warren Buffett made his billions. He's a value investor. What's it worth? What can I pay for it? Right? And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get hurt. I hate to say this is how people get super wealthy. You buy when there's blood in the streets, like Warren Buffett says. The amateurs have been buying for the past, 3 or 4 years, thinking they keep going up. For you guys that are 20 and 30 years old and never been through a serious crash, y'all gonna see something that's gonna be so crazy in the next 2 years that it's gonna scare the shit out of you. And you're gonna be crying like a little bitch like I did in 2008 if you're not prepared. But if you do direct to seller marketing, You raise private money, you build a brand, you can take it to the moon, because I plan on making hundreds of millions of dollars here in the next 5-10 years.
Any questions for Chris? Keisha?
When the hedge fund buys the trailers, who's gonna manage the property and make sure all the infrastructure?
Yeah, they got an outside manager that lives local to manage everything. So I don't have, I'm literally getting complete out of the business. So it's.
So you're just gonna be doing collecting of lot rents
I'm not doing
and managing around?
I'm not doing it. Only thing I gotta do is cut the grass.
So you're managing, paying the guy who cuts the grass?
Yes. So we're gonna take that, and we're gonna just wait for the next opportunity. But I mean, you can't hold forever. You gotta know when this. Grant Cardone says something that it took me about the third or fourth time he said it at a 10X conference. I finally caught on. He says every asset eventually becomes a liability. And I don't care how good of an asset you have, eventually it will become a liability and cost you money. So you got to know when to what?
Get off of it.
Sell. Get off of it. You said something about a guy said.
Yeah, a hedge fund told me in New Orleans, I randomly was sitting next to a hedge fund manager. He said, those real estate people, I was like, okay, what? They don't know when to get off the ride.
They don't know when to get off the ride. That is so huge. I would take that, and I'd write that down. You gotta know when to get off the ride. You gotta know when to sell. Because it's all cyclical. Everything that goes up must come down. Everything that goes down will come back up, and you play the cycles. When it goes down, you buy it all up, and you wait till it goes back up, and you sell it, and you just play the dip. You buy the dip, and you sell at the top. That's the game.
And that's really important. So I know Chris was talking about a few things, right? Building a brand. One thing you can do is you can take a photo of yourself here tonight, whether it's of the room or with someone, some friends, say, hey, learning about real estate investing tonight. Because what are you doing? You're showing people that I call them the real estate streets, that you're in these real estate streets doing these things. I saw that selfie back there. Good job, y'all. But the idea there is you're showing people you're doing deals. Hey, I just bought this house today. Some of you guys follow me on social media. I bought a house yesterday. I about threw up on the way through it because it was, I found the rat carcasses. I was like, oh God, what was that? But what did I do? I turned around and shot a video.
Courtney, can I say one more thing I forgot to say? I would say it's so important because this is not talked
Go back, what was it, the rats got you thinking about it? Go ahead.
This is not talked about. When you start down this journey of building wealth, you're going to get so much hate. Wealth has become a dirty word in this country, and it's not okay to build wealth, or you shouldn't talk about it, which is absolute bullshit. Right? God wants you to be wealthy. He doesn't want a bunch of broke people. Right? So we've been pre-programmed growing up to not like people that talk about wealth. And this is why I always say you don't need any friends. Like I have no friends that have only allies. Meaning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to have you break down allies.
Yeah, you see, I had allies. No friends, only allies. No bullshit. I have no friends. Like, this is gonna sound shitty, but it works. Because when you start going down this wealth building journey, you're gonna get so much kickback from friends, family. I mean, you're gonna get hate, right? If you don't give me value, or if I don't give you value, if you don't pay me or I don't pay you, if you don't come from my body or I don't come from your body, or if you ain't having sex with me, I ain't fucking with you. And thank God for Momma Rood, she's the only person I have sex with. But that keeps me in line. That sounds shitty, but it works. When you start trying to make money, if you're hanging around people that are not trying to make money, they will slit your throat. Maybe not in front of you, but behind your back. You have to hang around other people that are trying to make money. Because I know when I started to make a bunch of money, and you've had haters, I'm sure.
Well, you guys know I live in New Orleans now. I have to be mindful of what crowd I'm in to say whether I'm a landlord, property manager, or the maintenance lady.
Yeah.
But I'm sure as well not telling them how many properties I own and who I am, right?
The first thing that's going to happen is that who do you think you are? You're going to start posting on social
I'm just the
media?
maintenance lady.
You're trying to be a real estate investor for rich people, right? So guard your environment, hang around people that are growth-minded. Only 3% of the population is entrepreneurs. Y'all knew that? Only 3%. The other 97% just waiting to die. They're happy with, and that's okay. Some people are okay with just having a job and making 50 grand a year. And if you make 50 grand a year, I'm not here to talk down on you. I'm just telling you that if you want to build wealth, you can't hang around people that are not trying to build wealth.
Chris, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, follow you online?
You can go to Instagram at Real Estate Rood. Me and my wife, we share our whole journey of real estate.
Patty, come on real quick. I want a couple. You want to introduce Patty?
This is Patty. I call her Big Momma Rood. You can see how big she is. But no, we tag team real estate. We've been together 25 years. We have 5 kids. She got me pregnant when I was 17. But we've been together ever since, and we built a beautiful life investing in real estate. I told you all the sad stories, and because I wanted to kind of scare you, right? But real estate has built our dream life for us. We vacation literally probably.
Yeah, we didn't even talk to you on vacation rentals in a few different places.
Yeah, on vacation rentals on the beach in Destin, Florida, Northshore, Alabama, there's AirBnBs and lakes and stuff. I have one in the Falls River, you probably know that one, that's not too far from here. But we have built a life that you probably would think is not real. But, we travel, we make millions of dollars. We have, our kids are homeschooled. We live in a beautiful home, and I help a bunch of people, but it didn't come without a sacrifice. I'm almost in bankrupt twice, right? But the key thing I would tell you guys is if you just don't quit. And if you fail, so what? Get up again. It's just money. You ain't gonna die, right? That's the cool thing about business is, if you die, you only die financially. We're going to war, but we're not gonna die physically. You never lose in this game. You only learn. And you just keep taking the lessons and just keep learning. I'm not that smart. I'm really not. I barely passed school. I got a 1.6 GPA in high school. But one thing I am good at is I'm constantly learning and constantly skilling up, and I don't quit.
Speaking of books, that's great to give away. Every meeting we give away books. So, is there anything that maybe you want to ask about your story or whatever? That's giving out the books is the hardest part. So you can either ask a question about your story or something, and then we'll hand them out.
Wait, what do you want me to do? I'm sorry.
We're going to give away the books.
Okay.
And so we just have to think of a way to give them out. Usually we ask questions about your story or things like that, like the triangle.
Okay, who can remember the triangle?
You have to raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
All right, Gabriella.
Direct to seller marketing, raising private money. Oh,
Direct to seller, raising private money.
and build a brand.
All right. So we got the housing boom and bust. We have the 10X rule and the richest man in Babylon. All right. I'll do a second question. Who remembers the opportunity that Chris saw when he was waiting for his first business? One. Raise your hand. Yes.
Oil changes.
Oil changes. At home oil changes. All right. Which one? Richest man in Babylon or the housing boom and bust? There you go. You have another one you can think of? It's never easy. Why? It's all I always.
What was the 4 things I said about what I value as far as friends, not allies? What was the 4 things?
Paying me money, paying you money. You said 5 things.
No, it was 4. But it's
Keep
4
going.
things,
Keep
but
going. We'll count.
Either you paying me or I'm paying you. That's 1.
Okay, that was 1. And then I came from you or you came from
Yeah,
me.
that's 2.
We having sex.
Who you directing that at? No, just keep going. Just keep going.
I made you. No, that's that. I don't remember the 4th.
You remember Joe? No?
Take selfies.
Huh? Value. Yeah, bringing value. The last one was bringing value, but he got all 3. I guess.
Give it to him.
Yeah, give it to him.
All right, guys. Hey, look. So, say your Instagram again.
Real Estate Rood on Instagram and on Facebook. Go to Chris Rood. My account just got hacked, and I'm getting it back here recently. Yeah, there are 51,000 followers that are gone right now, but it's coming back here in the next 2 days. I just paid so much to get it back. But, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can find me. Just
Real Estate Rood.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Guys, Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys coming out. All right, guys. Look, so out of respect for Chris's time, he might be here 5 minutes, but he's going to leave. We're going to go to Chimes. They're not going with us. We're going to Chimes at 8:45. But you can probably talk to them for a little bit, but they're going to be leaving here in just about 5 minutes, okay? That's good with you guys?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Oh, he gave 10 minutes. All right, thank you guys. See you guys next month.